Right, what is going on, guys? Hope you are well, wherever you are, wherever the time, and welcome back to another episode of Why Not Me. And today I'm going to be filming a full day of eating. My food has changed a little bit since the last time I filmed one of these, so I thought, why not show you the adjustments and give you a bit of an update as to how prep is going. This morning, took some check-in photos. Definitely happy with how things are moving and tracking, with just under 5 weeks to go until the first show. In a very, very good spot. I think one of the things that I was worried about when I decided to coach myself was being able to look at myself objectively, but that honestly hasn't really been a problem. I'm fully aware, I think, as to how lean I am and the position I'm in. Running a little bit flatter through my upper body, obviously. I've been pushing down my body weight, but yeah, really happy with the look. I definitely think I am the leanest that I've been, including when I've been on stage, which is interesting. I was 94.3 kilos this morning, so 0.3 kilos above the lightest that I've been this entire prep. Last week, I believe it was last week. Yeah, last week from Friday and through until the Sunday, I basically done a practice peak. So I practiced a rapid backload and it went pretty well. I gained about a kilo on my most depleted state. So I woke up at 95 kilos after doing that. Looked really good, and I've basically since then, since the Sunday, my body weight has just been trickling down. I've just been back on my baseline diet. So that's been good. And yeah, today we have legs. This is my first meal of the day, which is typically my pre-workout meal. So we have 80 grams of oats, we have 40 grams of blueberries, 15 grams of raisins, 60 grams of whey, 10 grams of almond butter, and we have a bagel thin as well. Usually I would have honey with this meal, but we don't have any honey, so I've just replaced it with some more raisins. And this is the first meal. Previously it was 100 grams of oats, but now it's 80. Previously it was also, I believe, 150 grams of blueberries or 15 grams worth of carbs from fruit. I have pulled the bagel from another meal in my day because I'm basically on my training days putting most of my carbs, or I would say 90% of them around my training window. The other meals throughout the rest of the day are going to be pretty small in terms of carbs. It's just my post-workout meal that has a big hit of carbs, and everything around that afterwards is, yeah, pretty low on the carb end. But this is the first meal, so I'm going to get this down, get ready to head to the gym to train the legs today, which is the pendulum squat session, and I'll see you afterwards for meal number 2. All right, we are back from legs. What a session. What a great session. Fantastic. Felt strong, felt really good. Kind of just in that space at the minute, you know, when you're just mogging out a little bit after legs. But honestly, what a fantastic session. I'm trying to think of where I could put this camera. As body weight's coming down as well, I was looking at my physique this morning and thinking, yeah, body weight's coming down pretty quick, because since my peak trial, whatever you want to call it, body weight has dropped pretty fast from that point. So this morning I was like, it's kind of dropped quickly again. Do I need a refeed? And that session basically just confirmed, hell no, I do not need a refeed. Because that's really what I'm basing refeeds off of. Rate of loss, but also performance. If I can hold on to performance, if I can train really well, feel powerful, be strong, hold numbers, progress what I was doing today, like I don't need more food. I'm not losing muscle. So despite how you might feel, despite what the morning looks like, you can't be emotionally invested in it and be like, I feel flat today, or I feel really tired, so a refeed's just gonna go in for the sake of it. Like, if you can keep pushing really until the rate of loss is just way too rapid, consistently over time, and training performance is not very good. But yeah, moving on to the post-workout meal. It's going to just be cream of rice. I move the rice that I would typically have with one of my meals. I've moved that into this meal, so I just have more cream of rice. So 100 grams of ground rice for this meal. We're also going to have 50 grams of whey. We're going to have 15 grams of raisins and 20 grams of almond butter. And that's going to be the post-workout meal. So yeah, a lot of carbs around the training window. A lot of carbs. Well, not a lot, but 90% of my carbs to the training. I think the only carbs that I've got left for today is 150 grams of cooked weight rice and 20 grams of carbs from fruit. So that would be like a kiwi, not even a kiwi to be honest, probably some pineapple, and that'd be about it. So yeah, not a lot of carbs for the rest of the day, but I think that's really smart. Once you start pulling down in body weight more and more, and food starts getting lower and lower, you have to protect the carbohydrates around your training window, because obviously it's going to become harder and harder for you to retain performance, for you to hold on to muscle. So you are really relying on having some very good sessions. If you're still eating 400 or 500 grams of carbs, it doesn't really matter because you're taking in a good amount of food, right? Buzzing with that session. That's like, every time you have a good session, it's just like another step closer to just retaining the tissue that I've built. Just another successful day, to be honest with you, in prep. Like, just having good sessions when you're digging deep in prep is amazing. And then you'll just run off that high for like the rest of the day. I bought out a reel yesterday, and I was also doing with water on show day. So why not, let's talk about that. Let's dive a little bit deeper into that, right? So there's been a couple of guys that I've actually kind of been helping out because they've been worried on their show day. They've gone through their first preps, or they've decided to go through a prep without a coach. And I've just been giving advice to some guys who, like, on their show days, just helping them out a bit. And one of the things that they really struggle with is water intake on show day. And a lot of people are scared to drink water on their show day for some reason. And I cannot express to you how important it is that you drink water on the day of your show, because most of your muscle is water. And you can actually test how important water is with your physique. So for myself, my carbs have got pretty low on my rest days, right? I think they're around at the minute 175 grams total for the day. And I'll spend most of it, so like halfway through the day, I would have only had 90 grams of carbs, if that, halfway through the day. But I would have drank about 4 liters of water, okay? All I have to do is take photos of myself in the morning, first thing, no water, nothing, and compare them to photos when I'm like a meal in or 2 meals in. So not a lot of carbs. Like 70 to 90 grams of carbs is not going to fill my physique to the point where I'm like bursting full. But as I said, I've had a lot of water by that point, right? And I look sharper, I look fuller, I can pose better. You need to hydrate properly. If you wake up on your show day and you think, I'm a little bit flat, you shouldn't just start gorging down squares bars. That's not going to be probably the solution. Of course, have food. You're going to need food, but hydrate and assess what your physique looks like, because that avoiding water to try and get dry doesn't make any sense, because if you're not giving your body water, it's going to hold on to water. You know, you can for sure manipulate water during your peak week to force yourself to dry out, but that doesn't mean not consuming water. You might potentially taper the amount of water that you're taking in, but it doesn't have to be like this complicated science. If in doubt as well, think about when you look best. So on show day, if you are coaching yourself and you're like, I don't know what to do. My physique looks a bit flat, but I don't think I'm conditioned enough. Like, you're obviously not going to get rid of body fat on the day of your show. So forget about that, right? What you should do is just do exactly what you would normally do on a rest day or a training day. So if you're competing around midday, what do you do on a normal day up to midday? Do exactly that process and take photos and assess. So have some water, your normal water in the morning, have a meal, wait about 45 minutes, take photos, assess. You probably are going to look better. Make a note of your body weight. So what's your body weight after doing that? Okay, I've gained half a pound since doing that. This is a really good look. I'll be happy with bringing this look on stage. So now you know the body weight, you know what you've done. So you just need to keep an eye on the scale and make sure that you're not straying too far from that body weight. Really simple. Rather than kind of just doing a guessing game, cramming in rice cakes and squares bars and just kind of hoping for the best, it's just not going to work. So yeah, water, very important. John Jewett had this saying that really resonated with me. I wouldn't say, well, helped me out. And it's hydrate to striate. If you want more detail, you got to be hydrated. If you want that muscle to push against the skin, it's got to be full, it's got to be hydrated. If you want your muscles to function properly, they need to be hydrated. So yeah, this cream of rice is looking fantastic. So yeah, a little word of advice there for you guys. Let's bring this over here. And as I said, with this meal, we also have 20 grams of almond butter. I usually just toggle between almond butter and dark chocolate. Those really are my primary fat sources, and they have been throughout the entirety of this prep. Cool, 20 grams. Brilliant. And then we also have 15 grams of raisins with this meal. I am officially out of blueberries until tomorrow. So we got to get creative in terms of the carbohydrate sources that we're adding. And when you're making replacements, you've got to think about making replacements that are very similar to what you've had before. So like, for example, I wouldn't swap like the fruit for something like a bagel or a rice cake. I still want something that's going to provide a good amount of fiber. I still want to use a source that's actually a fruit, if that makes sense. And of course, it's still a carbohydrate, right? I think sometimes people make food swaps, but the swaps don't really make any sense. I think initially you can get away with just making sure that the calories are matching, but I definitely think the macros become a little bit more important once you get a little bit leaner. Also, I mean, if you have a coach that's telling you that you can't make certain food swaps, or you can't make food swaps in general, you have to eat, you must eat rice, you must eat cream of rice, you must eat avocado. I think that's a bit silly, in my personal opinion. But what do I know? For some reason, the cinnamon's up there. It's normally in the cupboard, but Bryony will laugh if she's watching this. I've had a bit of prep brain going on as of late. I'm sharp for work, and that's really about it. Everything else in my life is going to shit. I'm getting like clumsier, which isn't a good look. It's not a good look. So let's show you what this meal looks like. Turn on this light so you can see me. There it is. So meal number 2, post-workout meal, is 100 grams of ground rice. We have 50 grams of whey, 20 grams of almond butter, 15 grams of raisins, load of cinnamon. Tremendous. So I'm gonna get this down. I need to get my phone. I'm gonna need to get my phone. But I'm probably gonna catch up with Mr. John Jewett. Because I've said before, John Jewett, look at John Jewett, man, he's so inspirational. The fact that he's coaching himself, I just love the way he goes about the process. And as I've said in many videos before, he's one of the primary reasons I was like, no, I can coach myself. I understand my body, I can be meticulous. And yeah, it's going really well so far. So shout out to John Jewett. I definitely want to make the investment into J3U, just learn more, become a better coach. But yeah, I'm gonna eat this before it gets cold. I'll see you for meal number 3. It's time to eat again. It's time for meal number 3. Just got done with some education, learning how to be a better coach, because that is my career, my profession. I take that very seriously. Being better at my job, it ain't all just about marketing, social media content, emails, sales, calls, making more money. It's about being really good at your fucking job, being very good at your job. And I pride myself on that. Providing a better service to my clients. It's dark up in here. There you go. Providing a better service to my current clients, because they pay me and they deserve that. And I also take pride in my job. Anyway, meal 3 is going to be another carb meal. 150 grams of rice, cooked weight. It's not a lot of rice, but it's still rice nonetheless. And then we have mince. So I basically buy the packs. I just got done finishing some steps and I feel like my legs feel a bit wobbly and my body's craving some carbohydrates after the steps. But we got mince, right? So 5%. I basically weigh out a big pack of mince. So let's say your cooked weight mince, raw weight mince is supposed to be 250 grams per meal, right? Or whatever, with a meal, 250 grams of mince. If you want to make 3 meals, just weigh out 750 grams, right? I see a lot of people do that and then they re-weigh out the mince, like to make sure that it's absolutely accurate every single meal. And it doesn't really need to be. Just make sure that it's split into 3 meals. That's literally it. Obviously, you don't want the discrepancy to be too big. So like 250 grams of mince, raw weight, lands at about 175 grams cooked, right? So I'll weigh it out again so it lands around there. But if one of the meals is 185, another one is 165, like at the end of the day, over those 3 days, over those 3 meals I'm having, it's still going to be 750 grams regardless, right? So you don't need to weigh things again and again. Don't be so neurotic that it just becomes weird. With bodybuilding, it's really simple. When you weigh it out raw and you split it up, you don't need to start weighing it again. Just put it into your 3 meals, or your 2, or your 5. So yeah, 250 grams raw weight mince. And then we have broccoli, which is going to be 100 grams. That's cooked weight. Okay, so broccoli. Hopefully I have enough. If not, so this is 90 grams. So for the other meal where I have veg, I'll just add an extra 10 grams. It's as easy as that. Once it's heated up, I'll talk to you about the rest of my day. Right, so meal number 3. Lovely. We got mince and rice. As I said, 150 grams cooked weight rice. We have 100 grams cooked weight broccoli and 250 grams raw weight mince. And then obviously we got some ketchup, 15 grams, a measly 15 grams, because it's not the sugar-free ketchup. It's just the, as the Middle Ages would say it's the full fat. By the way, why do people say full fat Coke? It's just sugar. I'm gonna have this meal and then I've got 2 clients to set up, which is really exciting. One is in Greece, amazing, lives in Athens, which is really cool. Trains at an Ultraflex in Athens, which is pretty cool. And one is UK based, and one of them will be planning to compete and step on stage. Long term though, probably within the next 2 or 3 years. And then one of them is just literally looking to get leaner, better quality of life, all that good stuff. So setting those up, which is going to be awesome. Coaching at the minute has been great. It's been progressing really well. I'm getting the chance to work with a lot more people and it's just exciting. It's the best job, to be honest. So yeah, if you are watching this and you do want some help with your physique goals, just click the link in the description. It will take you to my Instagram. And then through there, you can then inquire with myself. With coaching, it will involve us getting on a call, discussing how everything works, and also going over your goals and how I should or would be able to help you. So yeah, get involved. Anyway, I'm going to eat this, get on with some work, get on with some more steps, and then tackle the rest of the day. All right, meal number 3. I say meal 3. This isn't meal 3. This is meal 4. Oh my God. Meal 4, guys. We have 4 bacon medallions, 3 whole eggs, and 30 grams of raisins. I'll typically have fruit, so I'll have pineapple or kiwi or berries, grapes. Raisins is the only thing that I have in my house right now. There's fruit. I was going to have pineapple, but I opened the pineapple and found it was a little bit moldy. So yeah, raisins it is. So yeah, carbs are starting to taper down throughout the day. So just 20 grams of carbs in this meal from the raisins. And then my final meal will basically have no carbs. It'll just be chicken and veg. So you can see, like, as I get further away from training, as the day goes on, just almost done with these new client setups. Guy from Greece is all set up. Just need to send him an introduction video. And then the other dude from the UK is almost set up. I just need to finalize his training program, but everything else is all sorted. I have calls upcoming. So I've got a call in about 15 minutes with my client Ethan, who's actually back from traveling. So we're just catching up, just putting a game plan of action in place for his return. And then I've got a couple of consult calls this evening as well for people that are looking to join the team. So yeah, a very busy evening. I also have quite a few steps to do as well. So work to be done. Anyway, I'll see you for the last meal. All right, guys, on to the last meal. We've got Brian here doing some cultural appropriation in the background. Final meal. I'd run out of chicken, so I could only use 120 grams. So 120 grams of chicken, 200 grams of egg whites. We have 110 grams of veg. That's the meal. I used my rice from this meal to go with my cream of rice earlier in the day. So pretty much protein veg to finish. We're going to finish watching Department Q, which is this. We're on to the zoom in. We're into the final episode. It's a banger. Anyway, I'm going to sign this video out now. I'm looking forward to the food shop tomorrow. Yeah, probably. You having a good time over there?
Show is coming.
Yeah, I'm going solo on the food shop tomorrow, so we need food and body cream. So yeah, anyway, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.